everybody. Shalom. Welcome to Preparing for the Exodus. I am so happy that y'all are here. I am Dr. Carrie Brown, naturopathic doctor with Powerful Natural Health Center. And here at Preparing for the Exodus, we discuss how to be spiritually, mentally, and physically ready for the wilderness and for the end times. So welcome. I'm so happy everybody is here. And let me go say hi for a second to everybody. Hello, JS. I'm glad that you're here. Hello, Lee. Hello, Judy. Hello, James. So today I discovered something today. I realized that in discussing getting ready for the wilderness. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Rechild. I realized that sometimes the topic of getting ready spiritually, mentally, and physically is so big and meaty that it is going to take longer than the 2-hour chunk of time that has been blocked for this show. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the two apart. So today we're going to talk about being spiritually and mentally prepared. And the next time we will be talking about being physically prepared. And we will go back and forth speaking about the two. Every other show will be spiritually, mentally, which, they're kind of close and on the same line, and that's why it's going to be covered in one show, and then in the other show it'll be about the physical. So in the description box of our show, it will show specifically what that show will be about. So if you can only tune in for the physical, then you know that there will be a recorded version of the spiritual and mental, and vice versa. So I just wanted y'all to know that today is going to be about the spiritual and mental. So if y'all are ready, then let's just jump right in. Whoops. Let me go back to the very first slide. I was going through and making sure everything looked good. All right. So we are going to be preparing spiritually and mentally. And I don't know if y'all were paying attention or if y'all caught the devotion that I did in the Mercy Poured Forth. We were speaking about being in the flow of the river, and the river that was pouring forth from the throne of Yah that is depicted in Revelation, but we can also see it in other scriptures. So in this little slide, you see those little, if you can visually see, if you're not driving your car, like don't be looking if you're just driving, if you could see the slide, there are little bitty drops of water, which look like rainbows. And I just realized that is a real possibility, that is what the river of life will look like. Does not Yah's glory be depicted in the rainbow, that he always has the rainbow shining off of him and over him, and it's a part of his glory? Wouldn't it be encapsulated in a drop of his water that is issuing forth from his throne? So wow, whenever I saw this slide, I got really excited because it never occurred to me. We had talked about the river of life being something that would be pure tasting and good tasting, but we never talked about, other than the water being clear and pure looking, about it actually possibly having the rainbow in it. And so here's a picture of drops of water with rainbows in it. And it would be his glory encapsulated in the molecules of the H2O. Just Man, just imagine. This is, you know how I'm always saying daydream about what our rewards are. Daydream about that river of life having rainbow, the glory of Yah encapsulated in the water. So here's a visual depiction of it. So I just love that. Okay, so we are going to prepare spiritually. So I am trying to do something here. There. Sorry, wrong thing for me. So as we prepare spiritually, I want us to understand and realize, which I think everybody here does. I don't know how you couldn't realize this, but I understand that if you don't realize it and you're just now realizing it, the darkness is coming and is probably already here. So we will not fear it. We will not run from it. We will not. We will not let it knock us off the branch we are growing from, because we are fruit, right? The branch is the olive tree. We're not going to be knocked off that branch. And so this is how we are not going to be afraid. Okay, so look over there in Philippians 4:1. If you need a second to look at that, I'm going to have to take my little self off of here because I can't see what my little image is covering. So I'll come back here in a second, but you can still hear me. So Philippians 4:1. Therefore, my brethren, dearly beloved and longed for, my joy and crown, so stand fast in the Master, my dearly beloved. So we are to stand firm. We are to be steadfast. That is what the word stand fast means. It means don't run away. You are not going to be afraid. You are going to stand. It doesn't matter how many of those balloons or unidentified objects are around the world. It doesn't matter if it's literally hanging over your house. It doesn't matter if you live near some really heavy-duty military bases. It doesn't matter. You are not going to be afraid. This is a part of the preparation spiritually, is you are going to let your spirit trust in Yah and not be afraid. You are going to be steadfast. You are going to stand. You are going to stand firm. You are not going to let go of Yah's hand. He's got you. Okay? 1 Corinthians 16:13 kind of says the same thing. Be on the alert. Stand firm in the faith. Be men of courage. Be strong. That's the Berean Study Bible version. The King James version of that one was not as amazing as this version. So I thought I would put this one in because I loved it. Be on the alert, which you can see right here is in the Greek Strongs. It says in 1127 of the Greek Strongs is to keep watch. So keep watch. That doesn't mean that, oh, I'm standing firm in Yah, so I get to put my head in the sand. I get to not know anything that's going on. I'm not saying turn off or turn on everything and allow everything to come in your mind. I'm also warning you, this is not the time to turn it off. You know, if you can't handle more than 10 minutes a day, then allow yourself 10 minutes a day, but keep apprised of what is going on around you. You are a soldier for Yah. Soldiers are not allowed to put their head in the sand. They're allowed to trust in their brother standing next to them. They're allowed to trust in the nation they're fighting for. They're allowed to trust in the gear that they've got. They're allowed to trust in their training, right? So they're not allowed. Every day they're yelled at, they're screamed at. And this is the world, okay? They go into briefings and they're told about all the details that's going on in the world around them that's like pertinent to them. They don't get all the details, but they just get what's pertinent to them. And we need to be that. We need to be on the alert, not because we need to be filling ourselves with fear. If that's what it starts turning into, turn it off. If it starts making you feel like you can no longer hold on to Yah's hand, turn it off. Go take a break from it. Take a deep breath. Go read your word. Go pray. Go work out. Go do what you got to do to clear your mind and to allow your mind to adjust to the darkness that's around us. So on that note, I really want y'all to know that there are some things I don't think that our minds are meant to see. I think everyone here is on the same page when I say that there has been times on social media where you'll just be like scrolling through mindlessly or something, and you'll pause on a story or an image or a video, and there will be something that you see that will be planted within you and will semi-damage you. It'll take away your innocence. And yes, we do still have innocence. So we need to protect our innocence. We need to be as wise as serpents, but as gentle as doves. So there is this line. I'm not telling you to be alert and go and look at nasty things. I'm not telling you to go and study the evil kingdom. What I'm telling you to do is don't put your head in the sand. This is not the time for that. This is the time to rise up and be strong and to tell yourself, I'm not going to be chicken. I'm not going to run from this anymore. Yah has got me. I'm hanging on to his hand. And I can deal with this. So how I stay on the alert is I have friends and a son who will send me headlines, and then I pick and choose what I want to read headline wise. Just reading a headline, you can get quite a bit of info from that. I also are Telegram groups with Heart of the Tribe. If you are not a part of them, we all just realized, the admins for these groups, we all just realized that we literally have a spiritual group, a mental group, and a physical group. Exactly what we're doing here for preparation for the Exodus. The Heart of the Tribes is the name of the group that is for the spiritual. It's where you go in and you pray. You can put in prayer requests. You can also put in prayers that you're praying for other people. You can share scriptures that mean something to you. You can share worship songs that mean something to you, things that build you up spiritually. That is the group Heart of the Tribes. We also have a group that is for the mental preparation, and it is where we share relevant news articles. And that one is called Reports from Under the Desk. The third and final group that we have is called the Breaking Free Health Renewal Group. And that one is the one that I'm in charge of as the health practitioner of the group. I put in their health things as well as other people put in their physical health things. And we all just help each other with understanding health things and physical things and stuff like that. So if those three groups, if you're not a part of them, we'll have a link in the discussion box of this video, go and join a part of what we're doing over there. It is a really nice group. We do not fight with each other about the names. We do not fight with each other about, anything that has to do with how you pronounce things or anything like that. So my battery is about to die. I literally forgot to plug in my laptop. Oh my gosh. Can somebody do a song and dance while I go find my charger? I am so sorry. Be right back. Look at my wall. Ah! Ah! I'm so sorry. One thing's for sure is I don't know what's for sure anymore. One thing is for sure is the show will go on. Okay. So there. Yes, Judy. Oh gosh. Okay, just on a little side note, so that you can see me. Oh man, I forgot y'all were just staring at a slide. Oh gosh. So, you know what? We're not these slick professionals. This is not some sort of highly produced show. I mean, if anything, this is just, it just shows like who we are here at Heart of the Tribes. I could not have asked for a better way to introduce you to Heart of the Tribes, is that we are going to be like this. We are genuine and we are true, and we will love you even though you've got issues. Who doesn't? I mean, this is the second time that I have done a live stream show and I forgot to plug in my laptop. And the last time though, the plug-in was like right here. And this time it was like in a completely different room. And so, and just so you guys know, like I'm in my bedroom. I just realized that I have folded towels and wash rags from doing laundry. I mean, like I'm not in a studio. It's the reason why we do this is because we love y'all and we love y'all and we love Yahweh and we love y'all. This Texan mouth has a hard time with words sometimes. And I just want y'all to know just that if I ever see y'all, just love me. Just, I am what I am and I accept you for what you are. I don't expect anything amazing out of everybody. And I hope that y'all feel the same way to me. Okay, so back to the slides. Okay, so oh gosh, that was funny. I don't know if anybody else thought that was funny. Yeah, Amanda is like, hey, no rifles today. Yeah, like there was a show where I had some rifles standing in the corner. Oh gosh, okay, that just makes me laugh so hard. I mean, like, how great is that? A serious show like this, and then we have all these laughs. I mean, it's just the best. I love it. So, yes, Lee said, we are the little band of nobodies, just trying to tell everyone about that somebody who saved our souls. Oh, I love that. And, thank you. Well, okay. So, on topic. And I got to remove myself again because I can't see the bottom of the thing with my face over it. So, I'm sorry about that. I'll be back. You can still hear me. Okay. So be on the alert. You may not have your charger with you. So we need to keep watch. We need to be on guard. We need to be watchful and attentive and vigilant, circumspect, on guard. That is what be on the alert means in the Strongs. Is, are you attentive? Are you watchful? Are you vigilant? Do you see how this doesn't have anything to do with fearing anything? This has everything to do with staying on top of stuff, the stuff going around you, and moving and working with whatever is thrown your way. Oddly, moving and working with the fact that my charger, that I didn't have my laptop plugged in, like I may not have been super watchful to plug it in, but you could say that as soon as I realized that my laptop was about to die, that as soon as I realized it, I jumped to rectify the situation. I mean, what a perfect example of how we should be, right? There might be something that is going to happen in the future where we just ran out of toilet paper. And we've always had toilet paper. And so I was thinking, as soon as this show is over, I'm going to have to run to the grocery store and get toilet paper. And it was so odd because it's kind of one of those things where you get to where you never run out of certain things. And I had run out of it. So I wasn't being super vigilant, but it doesn't mean that my life was over. It meant that now I need to jump on that little area and go fix that little area. And so if something happens and we realize that we didn't prepare in a certain area for something, it's okay. We're going to make it. We're not going to be afraid. We're going to go and we're going to fix it, or we are going to make do. We're going to go. If you run out of toilet paper, you're going to run outside and grab a leaf, right? You're going to make do. You're going to make it. You are not going to be afraid of the possibilities, because I know that your minds can just run away with itself, because I know my mind runs away with itself. I can't be the only one. So we're going to be watchful, attentive, vigilant, circumspect, and on guard. Why? So that we can stand firm in the faith. We are going to be men of courage. We're not going to be scaredy cats. We're not going to be chickens. We're going to be strong. Who do we need to be strong for? We need to be strong for the family. It's going to be this ripple effect. We're going to be strong for the family, and then friends, and then the people out that are within our sphere of influence, and then the community beyond that. Yah could use you mightily if he could see that you are not going to be afraid, that you are going to be someone who's going to be courageous and strong. He's going to be like, yeah, all right, look at Jane, look at Joe Blow, look at, Betty Sue, he's going to be like, man, I can't wait to give them what they need. I can't wait to have other people helped through them. I cannot wait to use them. And so we're not going to be afraid. Okay? And I think I can move this. Nope, I can't. I need to figure that out. So Philippians 4:4. See, we're going through this little block of scripture. And this little block of scripture is helping us to prepare spiritually and mentally, right? So Philippians 4:4 is rejoice in Yahweh always. And again, I say rejoice. It's kind of hard to imagine rejoicing if there's a unidentified object right overhead, or if you live near military bases like we do, that there's one overhead over it and there's a lot of weird stuff going on, which there's not, but I mean, in my imagination, that would not be a comfortable, scenario to live through. And would I be rejoicing? Yay, there's weird stuff happening. That's not what he's saying. Y'all is not saying that you need to be rejoicing in the bad stuff of the world, that you need to be rejoicing if your dog gets run over. He's not saying like clap your hands. Why he's saying that is because we are steadfast and we're courageous and we're watchful and we're strong. And you will not get this level of strength without praying and trusting. And so, what is faith? Right? Have you ever asked yourself that? The synonym for faith is trust. So every time that you read the Bible and you come across scripture and it says, there is faith in this and you need to have faith for that, I want you to use the synonym trust, because faith has become this word that just floats out there in the world and has this big, just fluffy meaning. It's like, it's almost too spiritual for us to even comprehend anymore. But when you use the word trust, it's so concrete. It makes the scripture make sense. So when we talk about praying and trusting, I'm saying having faith and praying. But did you see how in that next to last bullet point where I said praying and trusting instead of having faith and praying? It means more when you use the word trust. At least to my 2023 brain, the word trust has a lot more meaning than the word faith. Faith is just too fluffy. And I know that there's a better word for that. It's not coming to my head. So it's just fluffy. It's a fluffy word. So we're still talking about being strong, right? And this is our spiritual being strong. Philippians 4, verse 5. This is King James Version. Let your moderation be known unto all men. The master is at hand. The Berean version is, let your gentleness be apparent to all. The master is near. So in this one, as we start to be drawn closer to Yah in these really weird times that we are living in. I mean, we are living in some unprecedented times. I have no past experience to fall back on, except for trusting in Yah. That's it. Praying. I asked my mom, who is 75, and I asked her, have you ever seen anything like this? Because I'm just wondering, am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Is this something that has happened before? And can you please give me some wisdom? And she's like, never seen anything like this. What is happening in the world right now is literally, for the people who are alive right now, is the weirdest things that we have ever seen and lived through. And, the tribulation is supposed to be a time of trouble the world has never seen and has never been through and will never be through it again. So I could see how what we're going through is going to keep escalating and get weirder and weirder. And we are going to have so much strength, so much courage, that if we don't start now practicing strength, practicing courage, building up our trust, our faith in Yah, that it's going to be really hard whenever it gets to the point where there is no more peace. There is no more safety. And you know how I know that there's not going to be peace and safety in the world? Is because there's scripture that says whenever they cry out peace and safety is when sudden destruction comes on them. So the whole world is going to be asking, for peace and safety. Peace from what? Safety from what? That's how weird this world is going to get, is that it's not going to be just the people who are conspiracy theorists or the people who are on Heart of the Tribes that are going to be saying, I wish we had a peaceful day. I wish we had a safe day. It's going to be 7 billion people, almost 8 billion people saying we need peace and safety. That is what we are headed towards, if not already in. I don't think that we're in it quite yet, but I can see it. It's like, it's like right there on that horizon. And so that's why we got to practice right now. And it's not just practice, it's growing in it. It's allowing it to become a part of us. We must, with all of our being, become strong, stand firm, be courageous. We have to. You have to. You don't have a choice. You're either going to be strong, courageous, stand firm in the faith, trusting in Yah, or you're going to fall. Period. That's it. There is no in between. And that's what tribulation is going to be about. Tribulation is going to be drawing the line in the sand. And we are going to be on either one side or the other side. We are going to fall either on Yah's side and fall and be caught in his hands, or we're going to fall off the branch that we're hanging on to and growing, and we're going to fall into the other side, which is the evil kingdom. There's not going to be this middle ground that we've got, this gray area. This is going to be gone. And that's what the mark of the beast is going to be about. And the sealing of the saints in Revelation is going to be about. It is going to be about telling the whole world, I make the choice. I make the choice that I want Yah's seal on my head. I want to, which will be pretty much, if we're not in the wilderness during this time, that seal is going to protect us from the evil that is out there and the deceptions, but it's also going to make it to where we can never buy, never have a job, never sell anything. We're not going to be like, oh, well, I'll just go cut firewood and sell firewood to people. We won't even be able to sell. It's that seal will be sealing our death warrant in this evil world that is coming. And the mark of the beast will be a very temporary sealing of the people who are going to be a part of the one world government. And the false prophet is, you can see all this in Revelation. This is not me like making this up and this is your interpretation. It's super easy to read, super clear. The false prophet is going to make a mark that people who are part of the one world beast system, that stand with the beast system, who will be against Yah, they will stand with them. They will take the mark. The mark will give them the ability to have a job, to buy something, to sell something. But it's going to be temporary. It's only going to be for 3.5 years. That's how long the tribulation will last. I understand that there's some out there who say 7 years. I get where they're getting that from. I would love to fully have a download from y'all about what that 7 years, that 1 week in Daniel. But there is no other scripture about it. So about, a 7-year tribulation, everything says time, times, half a time, which is 3.5 years. Everything is, a time period of days. Everything is 3.5 years. So as soon as the altar gets set up, that's why I'm watching the altar. I mean, they're getting super close to getting it set up. That altar, when it gets set up, boom, clock starts. 3.5 years. Well, okay, I take that back. Altar gets set up and then gets shut down by the Antichrist. So that's what I'm looking for. And then, of course, the 2 witnesses show up, and they have a 3.5 year ministry. And so that whole time frame, 3.5 years, is to draw that line in the sand. And how blessed we're going to be that we've already made our choice. If you are here, sitting here, listening to me, preparing yourself, you've already made your choice. We haven't yet gotten the full seal. And how I know that we don't have the full seal is because we still have to be careful about the deceptions. The seal is sealing your mind to where there's no more deceptions. It can't enter your mind. It's only 100% yahs. There's no way, like, say you're a scroll that a king is sending to someone abroad, and he writes on there, and then he rolls it up, and then he puts his seal on it. When he sends that scroll across the sea to the president of the United States, whatever, and we're talking like, say, Middle Ages, okay? So he sends that scroll over there. The president in the middle, well, I know that there's no president in the Middle Ages. Whatever, Let's just say that there was a president in the United States during the Middle Ages. He gets that scroll, and that seal is broken. And what does that mean? It means that everything that is written therein is suspect. It means that there could have been a counterfeit that was done. It means that there could have been things added to, taken away, erased. If it's like a several page document, it could have been like another document added in there. So when a king seals a scroll, it means that he has sealed it. He was the last person to touch it, and that nobody else is allowed to write on it. Nobody's allowed to insert anything into it. Think, the things that are being inserted into humanity now. Nothing's being allowed to be inserted into it. There is no deletion of anything. Think methylation deficiencies. These are methylation genes being turned off and deleted. All of these things are stopped by a seal. That's what the sealing of the saints, King James Version of Revelation in that scripture, that's what it's about. And it also speaks about it in Ezekiel. Of course, it was speaking about whenever Israel is about to be sent into the diaspora, because they were doing really evil things. So evil that it was more evil than the people that lived around them. That's so awful and icky. And I am just so sad. It just makes me, I wish I could go to Israel and just take him and shake him by the shoulders and go, what is wrong with you? Why? You had everything. Just like Adam and Eve, like go and shake them. But see, they were deceived. They weren't sealed. And so that's what the sealing is for. In Ezekiel, it's talking about that there were priests that were doing worship of Tammuz and worshiping the sun. And all of this is the mixture that was going on in the temple worship. And it made Yahweh extremely upset. And so he was like, we're fixing to kill everybody. But he shows Ezekiel that there is going to be an angel with an inkhorn that is going to go, an inkhorn at his side, strapped to his side, that he's dressed in a robe of white, which means that he's righteous. And I kind of wonder, is this Yeshua? I don't know. And he's going to go and he's going to seal all the people that sigh for the things being done in the temple, all the mixture. And he makes it sound like there wasn't that many people being sealed. And then after they're sealed, then the angels of basically death, destruction, comes and just wipes out men, women, children that were not sighing for the things being done, all the evil that were being done. And kind of makes me think of Lot. Do you remember Lot? It vexed his righteous soul to be a part of just living within Sodom and Gomorrah. And I've often wondered, why did he live there? Why didn't he, why didn't he move? But Sodom and Gomorrah was not the only cities that were destroyed. There were the two that were highlighted in the Bible, but there is other cities that were destroyed. And so I kind of think that he thought there was nowhere else to go. That's a theory. I don't know, but remember that Yeshua said, as in the days of Noah and it'll be like the days of Lot. So he's telling us to look at the description of the evil that was going on there and the description of the evil that was going on in Lot's time. And so if we can sit there and just look at Lot for the moment, he was vexed. How many of us are vexed? Like, I bet everybody listening to this is like, this is, it's awful. This nation that we live in, the world beyond, all of it is awful. And we are vexed daily. And there have been times where I've thought, you know what? I'm moving. I remember back whenever we first became Torah observant back in 2008, 2009, there was a large movement of Torah observant people who were moving to Costa Rica. I don't know if y'all have heard of 119 Ministries. Maybe the majority of the people here have heard of that. Well, they moved to Costa Rica during that time frame where there was a large community of Torah observant people who had planted themselves somewhere in that area, and they were growing and becoming more Torah observant. And it appealed to me. I was like, yeah. But then I thought, I don't know if I want to live outside of the United States, even though the United States is pretty bad. So maybe that's what Lot felt. And so whenever we talk about the sealing of the people during Revelation, it is going to be just like Lot, where he was picked up and he was transported out and put down away from the destruction that was coming on Sodom and Gomorrah. And So the sealing is going to help us not only be one of those people that is not a part of the destruction like in Ezekiel and like in Lot, but it's also going to keep our mind from being sealed, or keep our mind from being deceived by the evil that's out there. And maybe there's a lot of evil out there. I cannot wait to have my mind sealed completely and to sit there and hear what only Yah wants me to hear and see only what He wants me to see, and not have to hear the evil kingdom. I cannot wait. Imagine how peaceful that's going to be. So, back to what we're talking about is let your moderation be known unto all men. So, your moderation is your outward appearance of who you are, your lifestyle. Who are you? And the Berean, it says, let your gentleness be apparent to all. But I think it's more than that. So we should be looking at ourselves, and we should be asking ourselves, what are we expecting ourselves to look like to the world? So this is a part of your preparing spiritually. What are we preparing ourselves by looking long and hard in the mirror? What are we showing to the world? Are we showing them, women? Are we showing them, a worldly type of, outward appearance? Same to you men. And this has nothing to do with head coverings. That's nothing to do with wearing dresses. I'm talking about the things that are obviously of the world and we should have nothing to do with. I'm not talking about some sort of doctrine in a mainline denomination. I am talking about, if we've got the shirts, t-shirts, now have so many occultic symbols on there. It is almost, you can't buy a t-shirt anymore because you're going to be carrying around some sort of occultic symbol on yourself. And that's been a thing for 15, 20 years. My kids as teenagers, I had to always go, what's on that shirt? We would be, at a store because everything had skulls. Everything has, like either a pentagram or owls or frogs. All of these are occultic symbols. Other things that are a part of the evil kingdom. And when you wear it on yourself, not only are you promoting it, but you could quite possibly be inviting a curse onto yourself or something. Stay away from it. So if your clothing is too tight, just ask yourself, why am I wearing really tight clothing? This is not a conversation about you need to wear loose clothing. I'm not building up any sort of doctrine. I just want you to, as the world grows darker, that you look at yourself and make sure that Yah is being reflected off of you, just like the sun reflects off the moon. So let Yah's righteousness reflect off of you, and whatever it is that you've got on yourself, if it's not allowing it to be Yah's goodness reflected off of you, then you need to stop wearing it. You need to stop having that on your body. And the next bullet point, what does the world expect us to look like? Okay, so I am a very conservative person, and I was just raised that way, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. And I'm not talking political conservative. I'm talking, just I still think that cussing, I'm not going to say it's a sin because I've not seen it in Torah, but I do think that it kind of makes you look like you're a part of the world. And so there's times where they slip out, and I'm not telling you, just stop looking like the world. If the world can tell you, hey, the F-bomb or any of these other words are bad, and you as a Christian or as a believer should not be doing it, and they know, and they're of the world, how come we're still doing it? This is where, we have got to, as we're vigilant and as we are steadfast and as we are strong, we are going to have to start shedding layer by layer the world. And let me move this. So the line is being drawn in the sand between us and the world. Soon we won't have the ability to purchase anything without following the world's ways. It's time to be strong and watchful and discard Egyptian ways. So, what are the Egyptian ways in your life? Philippians 4:6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto Yahweh. So this is a part of being strong, is you're going to bring all your cares to Yah. So if you think you might have a hard time with fear or with standing strong, then you're going to bring it to Yah in prayer. And do you know that you need to get rid of things that are of Egypt, but you don't know how? Bring it to Yah. Be careful for nothing. And that's not careful. I'm just, repeating what that verse says. Be careful for nothing. It's actually don't be full of care for anything. Nothing except for Yah's kingdom. Nothing. Don't go and lay it at his feet. Philippians 4:7. And the peace of Yahweh, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through the Messiah Yahushua. So this is an action-reaction truth. The action, you're going to stand fast and you're not going to let go. Don't run away. The action of rejoicing and knowing that Yah has a plan. The action of getting rid of the world's ways. The action of running to Yah with all your cares. And the reaction will be a peace that passes all understanding, that will keep your heart and spirit and mind safe. So when you have taken all these steps to prepare yourself spiritually, your mind will need help. Why? Because your mind will need help in following your spirit. So this is where the fasting comes into play. Okay? The fasting right now, if I was to tell you and you've got a hamburger sitting in front of you and you're about to devour it as soon as we're done with this show. If I was to tell you, okay, we need to do a fast right now, and you do a fast in, you need to just put the hamburger away, like go throw it away, like go give it to the dogs and watch the dogs eat it. And you're super hungry. Your flesh is talking to you. Your spirit knows that, oh, I really need this. But your flesh is like, I must have it. Well, that's what fasting does. Fasting gets it in order. We walk around like this, where our flesh is ruling the day and our spirit is way down here. And I I would love to believe that you, as well as me, has started making it to where our spirit is now tipping the scales and it is up here and our flesh is down here. If you ever struggle with that and you look at yourself long and hard and see that your flesh is way up here and your spirit is way down here, one of the ways that God has given us to fix that is to have us fast. Okay, so not everyone is physically capable of fasting. I understand that. Fasting can take on many different things. You know, it can look different to everyone. It doesn't have to be no food, no water. I put on my sackcloth and put dust in my hair or whatever, Fasting can literally be, if you every single day have that candy bar. And it's a ritual. It's how you relax at night. And the reason why I'm saying it is because that's the way I used to be. Literally, before I started the anti-inflammatory diet, was I loved dark chocolate candy bars. And there was a silly game called Klondike. And I would sit there and play Klondike in the evening and eat my dark chocolate. And it was, it's an innocent way to unwind, but a whole candy bar every night was 680 calories. I knew how many calories it was, and I still did it because I was hooked. I was addicted. My flesh was way up here. My spirit was down here, even though my spirit was like, hey, you're hurting yourself. You need to stop. My flesh was way up here. And the flesh is our mind. And so if I was talking to my past self, I would tell my past self, stop eating that candy bar, fast from it for one night, 24 hours. And instead pray during that time when you would eat that candy bar and get it right, where your spirit is where it needs to be and your flesh is where it needs to be. And so you can see me. I keep forgetting y'all can't see me. And so if you have it balanced like that, if you have yourself in a better balance, you're going to start seeing other things in your life that need to be corrected so that your spirit will start to be in charge. And then it's not going to be like this. It's actually going to become like this, where your spirit is going and leading and your flesh is doing, which your flesh is your mind, is going to go and follow whatever your spirit is leading you to do. And your spirit should be led by Yah. So as your spirit leads you to go over here, you're going to go over here. Do you see how beautiful that is? But if you're like this and like this, where your mind is doing everything, your spirit's way down here, or if your spirit is just following along with your flesh, man, you're probably going to get yourself in some trouble. You might be able to live that way, but it's not going to be real comfortable, because your spirit and your flesh are going to keep fighting with each other, because Yah really wants your spirit to lead you. He really wants your spirit to be right with him and whole and complete. And when your spirit is leading, everything else just lines up. Your mental is going to line up, talking about the candy bars. Your mental is going to line up. And then physically, you're going to go, oh, you know what? I don't need those candy bars because that'll be a mental thing. And then you're going to start getting on an anti-inflammatory diet. And then you're going to start feeling better. And then you're going to feel stronger physically. And it's all going to be like, it's all coming together. Right now, everybody is so disjointed. Just about everyone who comes to me and asks for help, they are a lot of them are believers, and their spirit is willing, but their flesh is so weak. And a lot of times they're either not getting their flesh underneath their spirit, or they're letting their flesh rule. Or in some cases, I just heard someone, he was a coworker of my husband, not a godly person at all. I know that without a shadow of a doubt, his communication tells the whole world he is not a believer in Yah. And, you'll know them by their fruit. So his fruit is honestly pretty awful. And my husband he's an oil field salesman, my husband is. And so I was riding along with him, and he had his phone on Bluetooth connected to the truck. And this coworker called, and he answered, and I was able to hear the conversation. And he asked, "Did you get such and such part?" And my husband was like, "No, there's, no one has it. There's no way to find it." And the guy proceeds to, of course, curse, cuss. But he curses himself, not cusses himself. He curses himself. He said that he was the most unlucky person there ever was. He's the most, man, I wish that I'm glad I don't remember everything he said, but he was like, "Nothing ever works out for me." Of course you didn't find it, because there's not ever a single day where things work out for me. And I am not confessing that over myself. I'm saying that's what he said. And words do matter. I used to kind of run away from that thought process, but I can't anymore. Your words matter, and you can't sit there and curse yourself and say, "I wish that things would be better," but nothing ever changes. And that's what this guy, it was just so awful that I was looking at my husband, and he finally got the phone and turned it off the Bluetooth, because he knew how much I didn't like this guy. He knew how much, that guy just starts speaking, and it feels like, I can't even handle when he is speaking. I can't handle when he's around me. Something's seriously wrong with the man. There's more to his story, but I'm not going to reveal it. So he is constantly feeling sorry for himself, because he has a victim mentality. See how his mind rules everything, and he believes that the whole world is against him. And so because he believes that, he curses himself with that curse, and he makes it a reality by his words. So when people say, well, knowing my luck, blah, 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 and stop saying that. Start getting your mind underneath your spirit. Your spirit says you are a child of Yah, that he loves you. So we need to be strong. How can we be strong if our mind is sitting there telling us that we need to believe that we will never get anything from Yah, that we will never be healed, that we will never be strong? How are we supposed to get any sort of healing physically if our mind is saying that? And I if there is anyone out there that is struggling with their words, with their mind, today, stop yourself. If there's any stinking thinking, get rid of it. Whew, that was some heated right there. So see right here, it says the reminder that the darkness is coming or is here, and we will not fear it. We're not going to run from it, and we're not going to let it knock us off the branch we're growing from. So how will we prepare our minds for what is coming? We will take control of our thoughts. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Are you thinking on those things? We had to memorize this for a vacation Bible school one time that I was a teacher in, and we just shortened it down for the little guys by saying, whatsoever things are true, pure, and lovely, think on these things. I mean, I like that, even though it's good to know the fullness of the scripture, but also we need to just get a hold of where our mind is at. Where is our mind? Are you in the middle of muck? Are you allowing Hollywood to implant programming and junk into our body and into our mind so that all that we're thinking about is grossness? And that goes back to, being vigilant. Yes, read the headlines, stuff like that. But then also don't let yourself see things that you shouldn't see. There's a line. If you don't know where that line is for yourself, talk to y'all about it. I know where it is for me. I know that there are people out there who, like say the Grammy show, that they didn't have a problem watching it. Literally, my heart started beating and pounding like the 2 seconds that I watched. I mean, it was like, turn it off. It was like that. So that was me. Maybe there's other people who y'all wants them to see it so that they can report on it. But I'm not 100% sure of that. But I know that we need to hear about it. But do we need to hear about it? I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a conundrum, isn't it? So we're going to think ourselves. We're going to think on the things that are true, pure, and lovely. So we are going to force our minds to think on pure things. If there's a balloon overhead, we're going to sit there and go, ah, and we're going to really have a problem with it. But we are going to think on pure things, true, pure, and lovely. I'm not saying just be like, oh, there's not a balloon. I'm saying what would be a true, pure, lovely thought while a balloon is overhead? It would be, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be steadfast. I am going to be courageous. I am going to be a vigilant person for y'all to help my family. I am going to go pray to y'all. I am going to go ask him to help me while a balloon is overhead. And if for some reason that balloon drops an EMP pulse into the atmosphere, and then we have no electricity, I'm going to be okay without electricity. It's going to be a little startling, and it might be an adjustment period, and it may actually be a detoxification from our addiction to all of our electronic devices. I mean, it's a part of who we are today, living with electricity. So there's going to be a time of, detoxifying from our addiction of it. So that's okay. A part of thinking true, pure, and lovely is saying, that's all right. We're going to be okay. It might be a little uncomfortable. We're going to make it through. We're not dying. If it drops a bomb on your head, gone. You're gone, and you're with Yahweh. We're not thinking of true, pure, and lovely things does not mean that you also don't just get comfortable with the idea that you may not have many more days left in this evil world. But the comfort of that thought that makes it a true, pure, and lovely thought, what makes it so is that we will instantly be with Yah. Our bodies may be asleep, but our spirit will be with Yah. That's our reward. And then whenever Yeshua comes back, we're one of those that come back with him. And then we get to rule and reign with him. And, those who are dead in Christ shall arise first. And then those who are alive and remain shall rise, meet him in the clouds to forever be with him. So, it's going to be okay. It doesn't matter. If you die, you're with him. And it's not painful. It's just like how in the other show, I took off my cardigan. It wasn't painful to take off my cardigan. If you guys have watched that show, the movie Paul, and it showed him talking to Jim Caviezel, who was playing Luke, and Paul was in prison, and he was about to be killed for his faith. And then the whole movie is about Paul talking to Luke, and then it shows Luke with other believers in kind of like the prison part of the Colosseum in Rome. And they were about to be thrown into the Colosseum with a whole bunch of lions, and they were going to be killed for their faith. And Luke looks at them and says, it's going to be okay. Don't give in. It's going to be okay. You may have a moment of pain just like that, but you're going to make it. Don't give in. And those are the true, pure, lovely thoughts. Is that's our reward. Is we're not going to give in. We're not going to give up. We're going to be strong. We're going to be firm. We're going to get ready for whether we get to go in the wilderness or whether we're thrown into a coliseum with a whole bunch of wild animals. It doesn't matter. The people who have gone before us were able to withstand it. And we can too. And the true, pure, lovely thoughts are that we can make it, that we can survive it. And survive it as in spiritually. Whatever is coming our way, we can make it. We need to be controlled by our spirit, and our spirit needs to be put under the subjection of Yahweh. We can make this. We can do it. So in summary, I've decided that I'm going to use this slide at the end of every single one until it's hammered in your brain, and then even beyond that, is we are going to prepare now. We are not going to have fear. What are you afraid of? If you're afraid of dying, why? You're a believer, right? What is the fear of? The fear of pain of the dying? That's Hollywood. Hollywood has planted it in your mind that there's pain. Just go and watch those people who have passed away and then they've come back and they have a story to tell of what they saw in the afterlife. None of those people said that they had pain. None of them. What are we afraid of? We're just afraid of the unknown. So, do you not know? Do you see what I'm asking? Being afraid of the unknown means you do not know what is on the other side. But aren't you a believer? So what are you afraid of? The other side is Yahweh. It's Yeshua. What are you afraid of? So we're not going to be afraid of man. Sure, they can throw us into prison. Sure, they can cut off our heads, throw us into a coliseum with wild animals. Sure, they can. But we're not going to be afraid of them because we're supposed to be afraid of him who can throw our spirits into the lake of fire. That's the only person, which is Yahweh. And the reason why I say person is because he's spirit. So the only entity that we're supposed to be afraid of is Yahweh. Don't be afraid of man. Don't be afraid of this world's systems. Don't be afraid of being ostracized or alone. You are not alone. You're not alone. Your family may not comprehend yet what you were going through, what you were believing, what is growing in you. Like we're all pregnant. But and this is, a weird thought, but it's like something is growing in us. And it's the seed of who we are going to be or already are. And it's going to keep growing and growing. And our family might not fully grasp it or understand it. But like I said earlier, it's going to be where we are going to help those in our family, help those that are our friends, help those in our sphere of influence, and then help the community beyond. That's what's growing in us. And we can't be of use if we're afraid of man, afraid of the world's systems. And I mean like all systems, like, the New World Order or the World Economic Forum, or, I don't want to say too many because I'm afraid that the YouTube algorithm will not allow this video. So, we're not going to be afraid. You can imagine. Y'all aren't dummies. You can imagine the world systems. You're not going to be afraid of them. And we're not going to be afraid to be the one that while everybody else is standing there going, Heil Hitler, we're not going to be afraid to just cross our arms and not do it. Although I will caution you, if Yah is not, I'm not saying Yah is going to tell you to say Heil Hitler. That's not what I'm saying. But if you are standing right in front of, and you're in this huge crowd and you're standing right in front of people who are going to pull you out and throw you in prison, and Yah is like, no, I still got stuff for you to do. Just excuse yourself. Say you got to go to the bathroom, still be covered, still be hidden, because you've got a purpose for your life. Don't throw it away quickly. The beast system arises, and then all of a sudden everybody's doing Heil Hitler, and then all of a sudden you just decide to not do it, and you throw your life away, and we're supposed to have 3.5 years of this fantastic ministry helping y'all do the amazing things, and you just threw it away instead of just going to the bathroom and excusing yourself and staying hidden. Be smart. Being a part of not being afraid is also be smart. Don't be afraid and be smart. And don't fear bodily harm. I just bit my tongue while I said that. The irony of that, don't fear biting your tongue. So don't fear bodily harm. So there's lots and lots and lots of testimony of people who they have withstood great bodily harm in the name of Yah, in the name of staying with Yeshua. And the reason why I don't have a problem with my brothers and sisters who use the name Jesus Christ instead of Yeshua HaMashiach or Yahushua or whatever, the reason why I don't have a problem with them is because they have withstood great, great ostracism, and they have had people hold guns to their heads who say, deny the name of Jesus Christ. And then they don't. They don't sit there and go, oh, well, his name's Yeshua. Okay, sure, I deny Jesus, but his name's actually Yeshua, so I'm okay with it. These people have stood up for something that I have never had to stand up for in my life yet so far. They are the true heroes, and it doesn't matter what name that they used. They are still a part of Yah's kingdom. Whoever is with me is not against me, right? Didn't Yeshua say that? So in the kingdom to come, which is Yah's kingdom to come, I'm going to walk up to those people. I'm going to shake their hand. I'm going to throw my arms around them because they were so brave and so strong, and they didn't let go. They're exactly what we need to be. We're not going to fear death. We're not going to fear any of these things. Okay? So, well, I guess that's all I got for you. The next show that I'll be doing will be for the physical side, because as you can see, I've already gone an hour and 22 minutes. And I don't think that, I think an hour and a half, I think people just start to get to where they just can't physically sit still and listen with a full brain. And so that's why I'm breaking it up and doing spiritual and mental and doing physical. So the next one is going to be about preparing yourself physically. So it'll have more of a, naturopathic, health-minded, but of course, we're going to be tossing in there some spiritual stuff because I can't help myself. So I just pray that this was a blessing to you. And I pray that you will allow Yah to heal you spiritually and mentally and physically. And I love all of y'all. And hugs to every single one of you. Shalom.